Okay, so we are back with chapter 2 of Jess Black Dances with Truth. Get up, boy. It's time for school. I ain't raising no fool. A used mind is like a polished jewel. It's worth more than money. It's a tool. Stupid ain't hip. Going about living, you gotta know where you wanna get. You gotta study, son. Look before you leap and pray God is pleased when you meet. You gotta do your best. Pass his test. Do good. Good takes care of the rest. I said, Mama, it's a pleasure to be awakened as you do. I hate to wake up, but I love to see you. Get up, boy. Don't start no mess. You going to school and you going to pass that test. Now, get ready. You had your rest. What's for breakfast, Mama? I could eat a mule. I need to be strong. I hate school. We gotta sit down, son. I need to talk to you. To make it, there are things you gotta do. I'd love to, Mama, but I'm late for school, and like you said, you ain't raising no fool. I met Solo at his father's store. He saw me coming and opened the door. When the store was crowded, his father would teach. He was telling kids what was in their reach. He said, listen to the elders. Hear what they say. Learn to think and to obey. Listen to your parents, your teachers, and friends. Learn to stand tall and when to bend. Try to understand. Open your mind. Understanding comes with time. All y'all can make it. You're no different than the rest. Judgment is God's. Life is a test. Boy, put that back. Good morning, Raul. Y'all be careful on the way to school. I looked at Solo. He looked at me. What he was thinking, I could see. He said, come on, Jess. Let's make a move. Pop's about to get into a groove. We walked to school without much to say. It was hot for the time of day. We entered the building and rushed to class. I thought about the test I wanted to pass. While the teacher took attendance, I looked through the notes. I looked through my notes. Garvey on Africa, Malcolm on the vote, the Ballad of the Bullet, King's Hope. He said, before we get started, there are some things I want to say about the importance of history and our test today. Mr. Idris is a talker. I settled in my seat and used my notebook to fan the heat. He said, everyone sit up. Just sit up in your seat. You're winners. You can't be beat. A test is a challenge you can meet. We talked about Pharaoh Khufu and Joseph Senku, the master architect and the slave that broke away. One built the pyramid at the center of the earth, and the other fought to keep what was ours at birth. What is ours at birth? We discussed Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth, freeing of slaves and the theft of youth. We studied Marcus Garvey and his Black Star Line, how his programs affected African minds. His message was one for all times. He said, believe in God and lift yourself, your family, and your clan. The fight is on today. Glory is at hand. Africa must be for Africans. He stood and told Africans Africa is home. When he said it, pride tempered his tone. He challenged the color of the heavenly host and gave Africans victories to boast. We heard strange fruits hanging from southern trees. The fruits were people like you and me. We studied the elders, what Africans said. We looked, we listened, we read. Mr. Idris was on. I fanned the heat. It sounded like a song. He continued to teach. It is more important than the study of others to study ourselves and our sisters and brothers. We must know who we are. We were not discovered. We must uncover the history that has been covered. Ignorance is the villain you are up against, and knowledge is the best defense. The test was fair. I had plenty to say. It turned out to be a pretty good day. I got with Solo after school and we decided to play some pool. The brothers at the pool room were talking about rap. Public Enemy, DPD, BDP, people like that. The brother who was speaking wore a kufi on his head. The others listened to what he said. He said, "Remember Michael Jackson? The man in the mirror. Do mirror make things clearer? Look at James Brown. What did he do? What did they do to him when he failed to bow and grin? He said, 'Black is beautiful, I'm black and I'm proud,' and was jailed for saying it too loud. Rappers make it clear, they label. They put all the cards on the table. They talk about the Bible and the Holy Quran and say knowledge and wisdom are on. They'll make it. Trust me, rap won't die. The truth is more powerful than a lie. The lessons of the day were sounding in my head. I moved in closer to hear more of what was said. A brother interrupted, stood from his chair, took a pull from a cigarette and blew the smoke into the air. He said, "I hear what you're saying, but it ain't like that. I like rhythm and blues. I like to bump and sway. I don't get messages from the music I play." The speaker was annoyed, but he didn't raise his voice. He put money in the jukebox and slowly made his choice. He said, "The blues take away sorrow and give it form. The message is that losers are human and warm. Rappers rap from a higher plane. They say to win, use your brain. You can follow the teachings of Lady Day or be guided by Big Daddy Kane. Whether it's rhythm and blues or hip hop, the message is the same." I looked out the window. There was a crowd in the street. We left the pool room and were back in the heat. The speaker spoke from a makeshift stand. He was a tall, dark-skinned man. He said Eleanor Bumper stood frightened and alone with a knife in her hand to protect her home. The police arrived with shotguns drawn. She never saw another dawn. She survived America's racist past, but didn't survive eviction. She was gunned down holding a kitchen knife, defending her convictions. She was killed in the line of duty for resisting eviction. Michael Stewart was an artist. He stole a ride on a train. Policemen bound and killed him and were cleared of any blame. Tawana Brawley was a victim too. She was raped and brutalized. Her body smeared with feces and left half dressed outside. According to her attorneys, she was raped and left to die. When she identified who did it, she was charged with telling lies. In the first examination, her case was deemed a rape. During the investigation, the records were misplaced. The men who the men who she identified were powerfully allied. It was ruled that they could not be tried for things that they denied. The media did all they could do to make it seem she lied. Rather than the accused, Tawana Brawley was tried. It was ruled that she had raped herself, and to cover it, she lied. Bernard Getz committed a crime when he started carrying a gun. When he shot 5 boys in the back, he was praised for what he'd done. They raped our daughters, take our homes, kill our elders and youth, and tell us dope is the problem. That is not the truth. They tell us what to wish for, what's the best that we can do. And when that becomes a problem, they say the problem's you. They tell us we are liars and that what they say is true. It is time we come together and agree on what to do. The killing must be stopped. That we must demand. It is time to draw a line in the sand. The problem isn't crack. It's a psychological attack. It's the price of journey from Africa to being black. They kidnapped our ancestors, stripped them of their wealth. They enslaved them in America and denied them knowledge of self. They stole our land, our history, our knowledge, and our wealth, and then gave us new identities and a false sense of self. They said Africans and their offsprings are 3/5 men. To survive, we must move with caution and sometimes have to bend. Africans parented our families, slavery cut our roots. To keep our minds enslaved, we are denied the truth. freedom starts with knowledge. We must know who we are. Lincoln freed our bodies, but our minds are still scarred. This nation called the land of the free was born with slavery. While it grows and prospers, we still pay the fee. For us in America, there is no equality. The nation has never paid us for the sins of slavery, and it still is not a serious crime to kill you or me. America as a nation has been racist from the start. We have survived with caution, but to win, we must be smart. And that is chapter 2. The activities for chapter 2: vocabulary words, questions, and the essay on top right there. Write an essay describing the Torah, the Holy Bible, and the Holy Quran and their content. Whoa, okay, he said it was going to get harder. All right. Stay tuned for chapter 3.